from what has come from the funding and the work of the TS Alliance and the fundraising and the TSCRP to now even see the PREVENT trial. I wish that was available for Brynleigh even in 2014. And I'm so hopeful and excited and happy and emotional that the new families, like, my goodness, it's just so unbelievable to see. Goosebumps again. I just get so overwhelmed to see the work and the things that are changing and evolving and how much closer we are to a cure and new treatments. And that's exciting to see that even in just 5 years, 4.5 years. So it's really cool.
Yeah. It's good that you lay that out because I feel the same way. Yeah. Like TSC, it just affects so much that, putting our hands up, we're going to be heard. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like.
Absolutely.
So how she handled all this?
She is just a very happy girl and very affectionate and smiles all the time. And I think that's something that pushes us just to keep fighting and keep doing what we can for her because, we just want her to be happy and do the best, like, with what we have and what we can do for her. I just love that she's been able to come with us to some of these events for advocacy. She came with us on the first Maryland Day last year, and there are some times, and your kids get sick or they don't feel good, or there's been walks that she's been there, and last year I was the chair of the walk, and it was devastating that I couldn't bring her because she was so sick. But there's just, I think you gotta roll with it. We roll with it, and when she can come and she's doing well, it's great. And when she's, not doing well, we have a great support system and a lot of family and friends and TSC families that we just rally around. And
I'm glad to hear.
They're our lifeline to navigating this journey. And things have been so much better now that we have that support. Absolutely.
That's great. And I'm glad to hear that you have that network. I'm just kind of in awe of how it's developed. Just so always encouraging any new parent to just get right in there. And I see you posting that in the moms group. So just jump right on it and get involved, I think. So
if that is what is good for you. And
that's true too.
Process.
Yeah, I forget that too.
Cause for you. Yes.
Yeah. I remember years where I would get the literature and look at what everybody was doing and just really know that I couldn't do anything at that point and kind of wanting to, but also knowing that.
But you have to have those boundaries, and you have to know when there's times when you have to take a step back and your family and your situation might not be at the place where you can, but then when you are available and you can be involved and do more, then you can pay it forward and help others in those times. And I think that's kind of the waves of the journey with TSC.
Yes, right? It is. Absolutely.
And that's okay. And I think that's the thing that's good about our community is that I think we all recognize
it's not a contest.
Because it can be chronic crisis. Right? You can be living in the chronic crisis, or you can be in a lull, but you never know when things are going to change.
Gosh, so, I know. So tell me a little bit about your role at the TS Alliance and what you've been doing. And
so we made that choice, as I had prefaced kind of earlier in the discussion, that we wanted to run down the path of being really involved, maybe sometimes too involved, because we want to do a little bit of everything. That's just how my husband and I were a team. Yeah, you know how that goes. Yeah, so we decided to run in that direction of just wanting to do everything and anything. And I think we kind of took it at one point right around the time that we started the TS Alliance in Maryland chapter in 2017. And at the time, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. And I just said, hey, I feel like there's enough families in Maryland that we can be our own state. And obviously we have a great connection with Maryland and DC and do a lot of things together because of the DC metro area. But there is traffic and there is distance. And there are families just in Maryland that I think we can have our own chapter. And they agreed. And they were wonderful to be supportive and allow us to break off and start our own chapter in 2017. And one of the first things because we were already immersed in activities and committees and fundraising and doing the walks and all these things, but we wanted to start to focus in Maryland, and different ideas came up. And one of the first things that year was that we had never done a proclamation before. So we decided we were already doing this advocacy on the federal level, which is amazing. We were like, what can we do on a state level and in our local community where we live? So the first thing we did was a proclamation in the city of Frederick and also in the town of Poolesville, where I grew up and my parents still live now. And so we went to go to the little town hall for TSC Global Awareness Day and get this proclamation and share our story. And there was a lot of people at the meeting that night with the town commissioners.
So how did you set it up? So just in case anybody else wants to do this.
Yes, and I'm happy to help anybody that wants to do this. And Jay Isham from the Alliance also we all have a template of a proclamation verbiage of what you can send. It's super, super easy. You can do this with the city you live in, the town you live in, the county you live in, the state you live in, and even go through the governor's office if you really want to go to the highest level. But to start off really in your local community is a great stepping stone. And it literally is just a phone call and an email and just saying, hey, TSC Global Awareness Day is coming up on May 15th. We have a child or a loved one or whoever it is that your connection is with TSC, and we would like to have a proclamation that wherever that place is, for us it was the town of Poolesville and the city of Frederick, that you're going to acknowledge and proclaim that May 15th is that local town, city, state, wherever you are, that they're going to acknowledge and celebrate TSC Global Awareness Day and honor that in the area that you live in. And then typically once they put together that document, they will have a little, either a town hall meeting, or if it's on a grand scale, you might be invited to the governor's office to accept this proclamation. It's super cool.
That is, yeah.
You can invite, it's a neat thing that you can have and frame and put in your house, and it's usually a pretty document. And then also you can get some awareness out of it by inviting other families to come join you to accept this proclamation. And you can also get it out on social media or out to different news avenues, whether it's a newspaper or a TV station. So it spreads more awareness. It's like this trickle down effect that this little proclamation can do all of this. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Just like I started seeing them popping up on Facebook.
Yes. And so the cool thing was we were at the town hall with our family getting this proclamation, and I saw a lot of people there that night, and I didn't really know who they were or why they were there. Well, at the end of the night, they approached us. It happened to be one of our Maryland state senators and one of our Maryland state delegates.
No. How cool.
And very cool. And they came up to us and said, here are our cards. We were so taken with your story. And they met Brynleigh, and they gave us their information, and they said, contact our office. Like, what can we do from a state level to help you? And what can we do to do something for TSC? And, sometimes people give you cards and you kind of think it was just a nice gesture of, call me, maybe we'll connect, maybe we won't. Well, I took them up on it, and I called both offices. I said, hey, remember us, this family with TSC and our daughter Brynleigh. We really do want to talk to you. What can we do on a state level? Let's talk. And someone in the office heard the message and had a family member with TSC. And now granted, is that going to happen on every single proclamation and phone call?
You never know.
No, but you never know. And that is why I really wanted to push for sharing this story with people, because I really feel like there's all these chance encounters and people's paths cross for whatever reason they may be. And you never know what's going to come out of it. You don't know what your network and your connections or how far they're going to span or what it's going to turn into. So this lady calls me from the office, and she happened to be the secretary for the senator. And she said, hey, some other rare diseases organizations have done a day of advocacy and awareness. What do you think about doing this for TSC? And then it's history from there, because the very next Rare Disease Day, February 28th, we did our very first Maryland TSC Day of Advocacy and Awareness. And then subsequently, we did another one this year, the second one. We got families from all over the different areas of Maryland to come, the different counties. And we met with our state senators and delegates to tell them about TSC and to talk about what we could do in the state of Maryland to help our cause and how we could work together. And then they did a resolution in the Senate and the House floor and presented the TS Alliance and our organization with these resolutions that they acknowledged Rare Disease Day as TSC Day for the state of Maryland. And also Governor Hogan, our governor for the state of Maryland, sent a proclamation that the whole state was recognizing the TSC Day of Awareness. It was spectacular. It was awesome. It was a great event for our community, and then turned into an opportunity for a project that we're working on now for some funding through the state for a TSC clinic at the University of Maryland. And we're waiting to kind of get to the next level with that. So it's really a grassroots effort that turned from a little proclamation to an event that we did twice and now being recognized by the governor, and some funding possibly in the works for our University of Maryland TSC clinic. It's awesome. We're very, very excited about it.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's like little things that,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we don't know. Is that the possibility for every single state and every single proclamation? Who knows? But I think the thing is to get out there, spread awareness. There's
Well,
these little things that don't take a lot of effort, and
yeah.
they could pay off in a big way. You just never know.
And you don't know who it's going to click with when.
Exactly.
So yeah, because certain people might not feel like that they can do that, but other people, yeah, it's like they're connected in their town. That's like a done deal. So.
And we even noticed on the second day of advocacy and awareness, one of the other new delegates that we've connected with this year, he walks in the room and one of our TSC parents went to high school with him. So, I mean, it's just literally the connections keep weaving and tangling and you just don't know. And I think if everybody looks at their circle of friends and their network and their community, oh, my sister's husband's boyfriend's, whatever, works in this office or knows this person. And that is really, truly how these things happen. And they can really be impactful and powerful if you just meet with the right people at the right time and share with them what you're doing. And then they want to get involved. Especially we've noticed too, if somebody knows somebody that is affected by a rare disease or affected by cancer or affected by a complex medical issue, it really tugs at their heartstrings and they get very excited and want to get involved because they might not know somebody with TSC specifically, but they might know somebody with epilepsy or another rare issue.
Been affected by, there's some connection to something fairly tragic or, seemingly tragic. But yeah,
right.
It is being comfortable talking about it. And like you said, little steps. So,
volunteering or getting involved in our community, right? So the TS Alliance really wants to have this new push for new volunteers and people to get involved. And I think it's sharing your talents and figuring out what excites you and makes you happy and makes you feel fulfilled and like you're paying it forward with what we're all dealing with. Because somebody might be better at fundraising or somebody's better at doing a walk or whatever that may be, or you may have a connection to a company or a celebrity or just something. And it's just trying to really think through your connection and your circle and seeing how you can bring something to the table that we don't have right now or we could expand on.
I think that's excellent. And, just the willingness to collaborate on behalf of the TS Alliance and hear everybody's ideas.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think too, we had talked about earlier in the discussion, we also didn't know one of the meetings that we went to about talking about volunteering and getting involved for a local event. We met family, and I'm not saying again, everyone's not going to go to a TS Alliance volunteer event with family, but you might connect with somebody you went to high school or college with. You might connect with somebody that is a family member or somebody that has this other connection. And I just think that it's a way to pay it forward and all kind of work together towards a common goal. And some other really good silver lining moments have come out of our journey. That's how I now can look backward and connect the dots. In the beginning, when we were in the trenches with that chronic crisis, it's hard to see through that and to see to the other side. But when I meet these new families of newly diagnosed children or loved ones, I try to say to them, hey, just stick through this, just get to the other side because there will be something good. There will be something good that will come out of this and you're stronger and you're going to get through it, right? You're going to get to the other side. And I think now the cool thing is that I can share with other families, there are these positive things that came out of some of our darkest days as a family.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think talking with you, Jill, one of the other things that we had discussed was in that time of doing all that, when we first got diagnosed, I remember meeting a group of this is before I met my TSC Lifeline, my tribe of moms and you guys. When I first got diagnosed with TSC and epilepsy, we were connected through Infants and Toddlers, which is an early intervention program in Frederick County. They have a way to connect you with some other moms that have children with other rare things, And I happened to, again, crazy connection. The person I was connected with had gone to the same college I had gone to, but before me, never had met this lady. And her son had epilepsy, but a different form of epilepsy with a different reason. So she invites me out. We're all kind of you just all of a sudden meet these people and they say, oh, just come be a part of our group. So I go out with them one night and have dinner and meet with these other moms. And the first thing they said to me was, welcome to the club. And it's really a lot like our TSC community says, oh, you've become part of this family the best family that you wish you never had. And it is really this sisterhood or even just family network and community that you really would never have wished or hoped for or dreamt about when you're younger. But here you are and you're in this. And I remember meeting with these moms and they are all saying, oh my gosh, when you meet another person that goes through this journey, you've got to ask them for what their resources are and find out about this waiver and get this application and here's this grant. And I just remember